Hey guys, I'm Kristen. Welcome back to Going Gluten-Free. Today we're going to talk about a very common question I get as a gluten-free coach. Should I be gluten-free? Now, here's the thing. Gluten-free as a diet became widely popular in the early 2000s, like the 2005s to 10s, because people were trying all of these gluten-free foods. They were removing gluten from their diet and they were seeing weight loss happen. So gluten-free became a weight loss trend because people didn't know why, but by taking gluten out of their diet, they were losing weight. Now here's the thing. Gluten as a whole is not inherently bad for you unless you are gluten sensitive or have something such as celiac disease. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's talk more about this diet trend situation and why it became so popular. Gluten is a protein that is found in wheat, barley, and rye. So gluten is naturally made. It's not something that we as a society created. It just exists as part of wheat, barley, and rye. And when people started removing it from their diets, they started to see weight loss. They started to see less bloating. They started to see their energy levels go up, which is amazing. But does that mean gluten is bad for you? Chances are those people who were seeing success on a weight loss diet by removing gluten were actually gluten sensitive or had celiac disease. Now let's talk about those, because here's the thing. Not everybody has problems with gluten. There are people who can eat gluten and not get bloated. There are people who can eat gluten and be perfectly fine. In that case, they don't need to remove gluten from their diet. Now, someone who is gluten sensitive, generally speaking, will see bloating or will not feel great after eating gluten. They might be physically ill. They might start seeing things on their face like acne or eczema or rashes. They might start having stomach issues. They might see acid reflux, stuff like that. If that's happening, that person is probably gluten sensitive, at least. We'll get into celiac in a minute. As part of the gluten sensitivity, their body is inflamed. Basically what that means is their insides are bruising or swollen. Think about it. When you injure yourself, you get a bruise on your arm, it turns purple and it kind of swells up a little bit and it hurts for a few days. Your insides do the exact same thing. They become inflamed. So gluten, which is an inflammatory food, can actually aggravate that further. For someone who is gluten sensitive, if their insides, like their gut, their intestines, are swollen and inflamed, and they eat gluten, they have reactions. Then there's celiac disease. Now, there's a common myth that celiac disease is actually a wheat allergy. It's not. Celiac disease means your body can't process gluten, period. It means that your body, if gluten goes into it, it's going to react to it. It's an autoimmune condition. And it's estimated that 1 in 133 people worldwide actually have celiac disease. Many of them are undiagnosed. So those who have celiac disease cannot be in contact with any form of gluten. If they do, they will react in some way, shape, or form. Here's the kicker with celiac disease. It's not diagnosed at birth. Generally speaking, there is something that will trigger that autoimmune reaction some point along in your life, and that's when you'll start to see the effects that gluten has had on your body your entire life. Someone who is celiac does need to avoid gluten 100% of the time. Someone who is gluten sensitive needs to avoid gluten most of the time. Generally speaking, they probably feel better if they don't eat it at all. But if they accidentally come into some cross-contamination with gluten, they may not have a life-altering reaction. Somebody who has never had problems with gluten in their life, always is fine after eating a giant plate of pasta, can eat bread no problem and not feel bloated and miserable, doesn't need to remove gluten from their diet. It's not unhealthy to eat gluten. But many people out there do have gut issues, are sensitive to things, and need to pay attention. If you think that you are sensitive to gluten or might have celiac disease, reach out to a medical provider to help walk you through the steps of figuring out what the deal is. It's not safe to just suddenly up and change your diet without help or self-diagnose yourself with these things. If you think gluten's an issue, go ahead and reach out to someone and see what they come up with. You may be surprised and you may be on your way to living a gluten-free lifestyle. Thanks for checking in at Going Gluten Free. We'll see you again soon.